Happy Sunday, Sunday. How are you out there? Tanisha didn't realize that we just hit record and we were still chit-chatting. So that's all right. That's how we roll on the Sunday Sunday podcast. Just a bunch of sometimes semi-tipsy ladies hanging out, talking about what's going on.
Paula, that's funny.
Not me, I'm just drinking water. Anyhow, so it's graduation season out there in the world, and we've had a couple momentous graduations amongst our little nest here. Minu's daughter graduated from law school. Her son, I don't know when her son is graduating or if that already happened.
Next year. He's a junior in high school.
Why did I think he was a senior? Because weren't we
he
talking
looks
about
like a grown man.
his school choices? Okay.
Oh, that's right. Excuse me.
I guess he's a junior.
Yeah, he looks like a grown man. He's super tall. He's got a voice.
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard to.
But he's already talking about
Yeah, he was already talking about
university
college.
choices.
Yeah,
That's
He
right.
already accepted a college. So his, I believe it's next year.
Well, maybe
Huh.
if Minu pops on, we'll have to ask her to clarify because I'm confused.
Yeah.
And then Lena's youngest daughter graduated high school yesterday. So
Yeah.
she was there, obviously, and Scoopalicious was there, and I was there. So we got to watch her youngest daughter get her high school diploma. And now you've only got one left
I've only got one left.
to.
And I kept it together, girls. This was the third graduation of our children, and I didn't shed a tear. I was really proud of myself. I kept it together. I almost felt like a release, like a weight was off my shoulders. Like I feel like it had been getting built up a lot this year with her changing schools and just the difficulties that she has had, through high school. 3 high schools in 4 years is not easy for anybody. So I feel like I felt her sense of like, okay, it's done. Whereas yesterday, when she was getting ready, she was full on like panic attack. Like, I'm not ready. What am I doing? Can we put a stop to this day? She literally said, can we put a stop to this day? So, yeah.
Did you talk to her about that? Like why she was feeling that way?
Not really, just because, like I said, after the graduation happened, like you could even see it on the stage, like as she came walking across the stage, like, I don't know, I feel like she got a little taller. Like I kept watching the video of her crossing the stage and it looked like she got a little taller, a little lighter. And then, her boyfriend yelled out very loudly, I love you. No, what did he say? That's my girlfriend. I love you, Nelly. And then she full on did like
about that. I was wondering how you were like, how's mom and dad reacting to that right now? And I didn't want to look in your direction. I was going to ask you later, and I don't know if this is a good space for you to tell me how that made you feel. But
I thought it was good. It didn't bother me at all. And to see her like put her arm up and like,
did she go like that or something?
Yeah, she just was like, I think she was doing buffs for her old school.
Oh.
And was just like,
That's so cute, yeah.
So yeah, it was good.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh,
How are you guys? Sorry, I look terrible. I caught the cold.
Oh,
we're
already
recording.
recording.
Just so you know, we're
We just hit
recording.
record a little while ago.
So, hello, ladies.
God, we're all here. Yay.
Yay.
Look at us.
So we're talking about graduations, and I was mentioning that we've had some, special graduations with Nandini getting her, and then Penelope graduating yesterday. And then we were saying, well, isn't Raghav
Yes.
graduating?
Yes.
When is his ceremony?
Yes, it was amazing. He
Wait, none of us knew.
Raghav graduated from school.
When did he
When?
Yeah, he did. He'd be going.
I thought he had one more year. I had no idea that he had graduated. I would have tried to have been there.
Well, I thought I mentioned, but maybe.
When was it?
When was it?
Friday.
It was on Friday of
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
in DU.
Oh my God! Congratulations to him too. You've
Thank
got to
you
let him
so
know that
much.
we said congratulations.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Good for him. Yeah.
So yeah, lots
I'm
of
sorry we
graduations.
didn't know.
Well, I thought that we did because we were talking about his
Yeah.
university choices.
Yes.
But then we thought So is it this year? Is it next year? We were confused. So we were not been good friends.
Aw, I'm sorry, Minu.
That's okay. How was the graduation for the gorgeous girl? I saw the pictures.
Oh, she was good. She was really good. Lots of her friends came over yesterday, and I actually still have a lot of food, surprisingly, because when this group of boys showed up, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to have enough food. Somebody go to the store now. But they weren't here very long because they had their graduation rehearsal for their graduation this coming weekend. So apparently, our kids' graduations is pretty early because there's more graduations coming up in the next like up to 3 weeks,
Yeah.
which I'm like, wow, that's like into June. That seems so late.
Mm.
But yeah, everything was really lovely. I was just talking about like the anxiety that was building up, that was happening, building up to graduation, and how that all just kind of like washed away as she was like crossing the stage. It was one of the first one of my kids that I didn't tear up. I didn't get like super emotional. I just felt like at ease, like
I feel I was
we got
super
here.
well behaved for Nandini's. And Raghav, who's extremely private and shy and gives me warning, don't touch, don't hug, don't make eye contact, sit like a robot. I was loud and obnoxious the moment he was there and he got, the department awards. And I was like, that's my son. He has my DNA. And he was so embarrassed. And I'm like,
Good for you.
What did he win? What award?
he got the department award, the faculty award, and the honors roll.
Good for
That's
him.
great. That's awesome.
Well, so with all that being said, of course, at every graduation, there's usually several speeches, and there were some good ones yesterday. I thought the young lady who talked about her learning difficulties and how she got through that, and graduated with honors. That was a really good one. The valedictorian, like amazing young man. He got the Daniels Fund scholarship. He's going off to Notre Dame to studying some kind of medical career.
I think he was biology or pre-med or
Yeah.
one of the STEMs for sure.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe we can wait a little bit.
So this young man gave the commencement speech, and he kind of went off on this tangent about how the school's soccer team had made history for the first time in I don't remember how many years.
18 years.
18 years. Okay. Yeah. So they won what was it? Did they win it all? State championship?
State.
Yeah.
They took it all the way.
So that was a pretty amazing moment for this graduating class. But then he continued down that path on what does it mean to make history? And he gave some examples about ordinary moments where, teachers interact, or the way that teachers behave, or just little moments throughout their high school career. And he basically said, we the class of 2026 have the capacity and the ability to make history. And he gave a really good statistic, which I think, let me see if I can pull it up. He talked about like the probability of just being alive to your parents and at this specific point in time. And I looked up the statistic and I just said, what is the probability of my existence? And this is what Google says. The probability of you existing is estimated to be roughly 1 in 10 to the 2,685,000. So that is a 1 followed by nearly 2.7 million zeros is the probability of all of our individual existences. So he
We are
continued.
miracles.
Yeah. So he basically just continued down the path that if that is the probability that you would exist, the odds are in your favor that you have the capacity to make history. So I thought that was a really beautiful speech, a really good way to encourage his classmates that they have the ability to be extraordinary human beings. And it doesn't have to be in what we would think to be like something like in an extraordinary way, right? It can be something simple that happens on a day-to-day basis. And we kind of talked about this last week on our recording. Scoopalicious, what did you want to share?
There's two things that he said, and I'm just going to share one first. He said, making history isn't necessarily your words or your actions, but by the way you carry them out. And so you can kind of think, okay, he says actions. Well, how else do you carry something out? You carry something out through actions. But it's not just your actions, it's your follow through. So you can do something Like, for example, I start the laundry and I hate the follow through. I don't like to fold clothes and they'll sit there forever. So I can start the action and that's great. But how do I continue the task and carry out and follow through? And so that I really liked when he had said that. He mentioned several teachers shaking their hand when they come to the door, knowing everybody by name. The teacher who sings, I don't study Christian music or something in the class. You know, all those people are making history for these young kids. They're going to remember that.
Absolutely. When we think about like the idea of making history, it's like this myth that it has to be like something really big, you know? So maybe when we were growing up, we would think that making history is about like becoming famous or, you know, changing the world or achieving a certain status or certain level of wealth. But I think we kind of forego like the quiet impacts that that young man touched upon, like the ones that you just brought up, Shannon. The teacher who greets you by name, or you know, the teacher who high fives you. So I wanted to talk about that, like those
Small
quiet,
moments.
yeah, those small impactful moments that change history for another ordinary human being, you know. And have we had one of those? Like, can any of you like think about a particular quiet moment that had a big impact that made history for you? Does anything stick out for anyone?
You know, I would say when I went to Kentucky for Nandini's graduation and we were standing in the queue, a bit nervous, and they have it so well organized that the teachers, the staff comes and they are checking and they're telling you which aisle would you go, where your seat is. And suddenly one of their administrative staff comes and he says, "You are Deanie's mom and you got the bonus mom. So you guys are from Colorado." And I was so surprised that, this final year she did it from DU here as a visiting student. Even then, that she remembered that we are from Colorado, or, like how Nandini impacted. And she would say that, oh, her smile and the fact that she would stop every day just to hug me. And she will then say 8 seconds. It's not 8 seconds yet. Sometimes, yes, people remember what you do for them. And I'm like, yeah, this 8 second thing is such a problem with me because I'm like, okay, it's done. Just leave me alone. And she counts, she'll say, one Mississippi, two, and she'll do it to me. And I'm like, it's done. It's done. I have things to do. But then when someone else tells you, oh, the 8 second hug, then you're like, oh, wow, it does leave an impression.
Can
And
feel
never
it.
be the first one to let go.
Heart to heart.
That's
Yeah.
I will remember
Yeah.
that, Paula.
We'll still be hugging in 2 months.
Yes.
It
It's
reminds
time
me
to
of
let go.
that saying, people don't remember what you say, something like this. Don't remember your words, but they remember how you made them feel. And those just
Yes.
those like
Mhm.
some of the smartest people I've ever known are like not the ones that would be considered like the most accomplished in our society, like with awards and status and financial means, and they're the quiet ones that are always slow and steady and there for other people and show up, and oftentimes mothers and fathers, that are raising good humans. That's what it makes me think of. I'll never forget. So I just think that human touch is very powerful. Not just an embrace, like a full on hug, but just even like a handhold or the brush of a hand.
Mhm.
And I'll never forget after 9/11, I traveled to New York and they had just started cleaning out and, named ground zero, and they were cleaning out, making it flat. And they were going to start building the structure that is there now. And there was long, massive lines to get in to this area that was like a bridge. They had built up a bridge so you can like see where the Twin Towers were. And I got there at like 6 a.m. and there was a long line, and they have little like coffee stations everywhere and like little like donut hole stations. And you're in line and some people would leave and offer coffee, and then somebody else in line would leave and bring back donuts because it's cold. It was cold and you're standing there. And then I remember as we got closer to the front, the group of people that I was standing with, all of a sudden, like I felt somebody grabbed my hand. And then everybody just got a little bit closer. And then somebody else grabbed another hand, or you felt somebody's shoulder, or all of a sudden you just felt like this warmth, like this body heat of just people coming together. And you end up walking up on this platform, not alone. Like we're all thinking that we're going to walk up like one at a time, but we walked up like in a group, like not embraced, but holding hands, like that human touch. And we were all crying, of course. By the time you get up to the platform and you look down to see where the Twin Towers were, it was very powerful moment. I won't ever forget that. That's definitely, yeah, an extraordinary moment of just human touch.
Made history for you.
Wow.
Yes, 100%.
It's almost like it was a traumatic moment for us as a nation. I think what you described is almost like a healing of that trauma, in a very small way for that little group of people.
Absolutely, 100%. That's, it's well known that human touch and connection is healing, right?
I have learned the importance of human touch now, not that much growing up. When you stay away from family, you form your own family in a different part of the culture and country that you're not raised in, you realize that we humans are wired for connections, and touch is one of the easiest form of communication and experience. And I feel I was not very touchy person, but when I came here, even at the workplace, the hugs, the shake hands, and now I realize that it actually helps with my stress hormone. It just helps me decompress, and it just feels good. You have better energy. Yes, it is very.
We were young when we left Chile, and I think we went back to visit when I was 11, and I had forgotten how much kissing there was. Like, people meet you like a stranger, and they just lean over and kiss you, and I'd be like, "Why are you kissing me? I don't know who you are." And you're 11, you're an awkward little girl, and you're meeting kids of
That's how
your
it is.
age, and they're leaning over and kissing, and it's just like it was a little. It took some getting used to.
It's
Yeah,
like
because
that
here
in,
you're like
in
taught space.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that in
Don't give 'em
Italy
my
as well.
space.
Yeah.
Italy and
Mhm.
Mexico.
Yeah. Most of Latin countries. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Do you guys know that movie Spanglish with Adam Sandler?
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't watched
So
it.
it's a great movie. It's, a lot about a mother and daughter relationship, and they bring up the very common phrase in our American culture is I need space.
Hmm.
And there's a moment in the movie where the daughter says to the mom, I need space. And the mom goes in her very strong Spanish accent, there is no space between me and you. Like the mom was not going to accept that cultural norm of I need space.
Mm.
That's totally what it is like coming back to Chile or to Italy or even Mexico. Like you meet somebody and you get pulled in for a kiss, and sometimes not just one,
Mhm.
on each cheek. It's
Each
the
side.
norm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
When you talk about kiss, my first kiss in United States was by Paula. Yeah, the first person who kissed me on my cheeks was her when she was getting married, and she was, trying her purple dress, I remember, in Karen's home. And I said, "Wow, you look so pretty. Wow." And my expression was like, "Wow." And she just comes, hugs, and kisses me, and she's like, "You're funny." Just like that.
Look, I made history for you.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Yes, you did. And I
That's
was like,
it.
I'm like,
awesome.
wow, I thought white women stay away. They kiss, they touch.
That's
Well,
funny.
that's fun.
Mm,
That's a good memory.
yeah.
I mean,
Absolutely.
since you were talking, like, what about like standing up and speaking up for yourself? Do
Wow.
you remember like the first time you like did that for yourself?
It was so hard. The first time I ever said no, I think my guru, who has taught me the concept that no is a complete sentence, which is my daughter. And then to reinforce it was Patricia. And, she would just say, just don't over explain. No is a complete sentence. And it was hard, but it felt very liberated. It just felt that I am in power and, I'm in control. And it's a beautiful feeling where you're like, wow, it's my decision. No one else is telling me what to do. So yeah,
Nice.
it feels safe.
That's an important historical moment, I think, for a woman's
Yes.
life, especially if she has not been given the opportunity to do that. Savvy, what did you want to share?
I just wanted to say, what a historical moment for someone to impact someone's life. I'm thinking about Patricia right now, and I didn't meet her personally. I just got to talk to her on the phone. But the way you lit up in the moment of speaking about her just showed how much of an impact she had on your life. And she's greatly missed, and I never even knew her personally. That's amazing.
She's a living being inside me. I asked her to record voice notes for me and I play them every day. I still send her a good morning text on her cell phone number. I don't know if it's active or not. Whether it's with her daughter, I don't know. But she's just a living being inside me. I think she's the one who has helped me shape in who I have become today.
And who would have known after years, like that's how our conversation started, was about history, making history. And this woman made a huge impact in your life. She is historically spoke about amongst us as friends. Her history, she still lives on in our conversations. And just by a small impact of making history, like, I mean, in one person's life, that's how important. And that's how that started with our topic, was about making history, a small impact in someone's life.
Absolutely. And I think that we have the ability, especially us as mothers, to teach our sons and our daughters new ways to live, teach our daughters new definitions of success and maybe make history for them. I think that's Shannon, I think about your relationships, with your kids. I mean, I think that you have pulled yourself up by your own bootstraps, by your own will, by your own hard work. And you're teaching your kids a lot by your actions. Now, whether or
Don't
not
shake your head no. What's that? Come on now.
You can lead a
give
horse to
yourself some
water.
credit.
You can lead a horse
Well,
to water.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
So regardless of, that's what I was going to say next. Even if the example that we're setting isn't being picked up, I still think it's admirable to reinvent yourself, to be the first one in your family to do something, to heal family patterns or traumas, or
To change them. Yeah.
to change what might have been an expectation of how your life was going to go because of X, Y, or Z.
Because I had kids young, and
Right.
in my family, it was frowned upon. It was don't do it. But meaning when you were talking about texting Patricia, so when I closed at my house last summer in July, I sent you guys a picture. I remember Carolina, she's like, I love that you're still wearing your wedding ring. And I sent that picture to my mom. And of course, she had already been gone for a year. But I texted her and I said, I just wanted to share this with you. Nobody responded, so I don't think anybody has her number. And then I sent her a picture of my nails one time because they were black. And I said, I know you don't like black, but I thought these were really pretty. And so she stays in me, in my spirit as well. So I definitely can relate to that. And then something else this gentleman said, he said, don't be sad that it's gone. Be happy that it happened. And I really liked that because so often we're saying our goodbyes or we're sad about the step that has just, I can say that like I miss my kids being toddlers. There's some people that don't get to see their kids be toddlers. There's some people that don't get these milestones or these even simple things in life. And I've got to experience watching this process. I get to see my granddaughters and embrace them. I actually saw them today, and Zamora ran up to me and she starts spilling all the tea. I love it. She's telling me
I
everything.
love her.
And she's like, Mommy and Uncle QL, they got in an argument because Uncle QL said a bad word. She's just telling me everything. But anyway, just some of the blessings and I'm just happy. I'm happy, because, Monique had her children young, older than I was, but the outcome has still been great. for me selfishly. But there's things like last year, a lot of things happened last year, and I was really sad last year. But I'm very happy. I'm happier where I am now. I have to sell my house. My house is very expensive. But how blessed am I that I can afford the mortgage? How blessed am I that I have a job? I asked God to give me another spring in my house, and He did. So while I sit here and complain about how much I'm losing every month, just the fact that I can still take care of the house, it's not foreclosed on, I'm not doing a short sale. What a blessing. And I feel just very grateful and happy that I can still do it. I might have $10 at the end of the month, but it's okay. And I got my spring. I got my spring in the house. Because you guys know you're tired of seeing those backyard pictures.
No, we're not. I'm going to miss them.
They're beautiful.
I'm going to miss them. That's going to be marked in your
How the hell
history
is it
for a
so
long time.
green?
Because nobody lives there.
Oh.
There's not a bunch of little kids running around.
Or pets.
True,
I feel
or
like
pets.
that's a secret to a clean house. No pets.
Don't know nothing about that.
Savvy, you're muted, but I know when Savvy, I think she had her grandbaby for a couple days. Just a little one. Holy cow, little ones. Boy, do they come with a lot. Diapers, wipes, and their clothes is small, but you got to have a ton of them
Right.
around. They're not even playing with anything, and there's more of a mess with babies.
Oof. You ain't lying. Scoopalicious, repeat that last quote, because I want to say something to it. Repeat what the guy said.
Don't be sad that it's gone. Be happy that it happened.
Okay. So it's crazy because when I think about that quote, when I think about this particular topic that we're talking about, the graduation and whatnot, what a great experience of change as young humans. Like, this experience right now that is a change for them. And that quote really spoke to my heart because I didn't get to listen to it. So I didn't, this is the first time I'm hearing it, but it spoke to my heart because, like, we hold on to things and like so much is happening right now for them. So much is happening. And I'm just thinking back to what it was like for that moment for me when change just happened. No longer am I going to classes every day. I'm waking up and I'm just like, okay, what's next? Okay, I might have a job, or I might be getting ready for the next season of when school is starting or whatever. But just waking up in that moment of change, of things not being the same. And so that's scary. That's a scary place, a scary moment. I don't know. For me, I didn't really have much encouraging people in that moment of when change happened for me. And so I'm thinking about Penelope, I'm thinking about Raghav, and I'm thinking about these are some great changes in their life that set the trajectory of where they go, whether they go to school, whether they don't go back to school, whether they start their life as adults and go working or whatever. Just not to be discouraged, but that word was very encouraging. That statement was an encouraging send-off for the next chapter in their life.
Absolutely. It was a great speech when he talked about the probability of your life, is this huge, ginormous probability. And yet here you are. So what's to say that you cannot do extraordinary things? You know what's interesting about
When you said that, I'm going to play the lottery.
Yeah.
I'm going to play the lottery now.
We'll play the lottery for girls. You know what's interesting about what you said, Savvy, is that change is the only constant. The only constant is change. Change is the only thing you can count on. These are particular hard stops in these young lives where change is coming. And, Carolina, you were talking about how nervous she was and how almost triggered she was the day of the graduation, because it's like, okay, today is the end of this era and change
It's like it
starts.
hadn't hit her. It's like it hadn't hit her. She hadn't really considered this is it. Like this is where my life begins. Like this is the end of this chapter and something new begins.
Right.
And it's like how I was telling you guys in my Sunday Sundae video, like I just have to keep reminding myself that change is growth. change is growth. This is good change. This is valuable change. She's growing. We're all growing. I don't have to be so sad and so worried that I haven't done what I needed to do in order to get her through to accept this change, you know? But she did it. She did it. I mean, literally, as she walked across that stage, it looked like she got taller. Like, it looked like she grew. And so, and I was telling the girls, Erin, I don't know that you were on yet, just that this was the first graduation, you know, my third child, and the first graduation where I didn't tear up. I didn't feel sad. I really felt like it's going to be okay. Yeah, it's good.
Just y'all know that song that it's like it goes as we go. It's like they play it at every graduation or the ending of something.
Yeah. I think Samantha made a post with that
I
song
think she did.
on
As you're,
Instagram today.
as you're talking, I'm imagining that song in my head for Penelope.
Yeah. It was good. It was
So there's
good.
these very defined moments, especially in a young person's life, where you know change is coming. But then I think for us as we get older, there are more quiet, ordinary moments that you might, during that particular moment, you do not realize that your life is changing, that your life is diverging. So I wonder if any of you can like think back on a small moment that really changed your life.
You know, I'll say something that my son Raghav said when I said, "Oh, you know what? Now you're going to be an adult." And I just said that to him. And he said, "I don't give anyone the power to make me question who I am going forward." And it made me think, what did he just say that? And he has said that pretty much every time now, you know, that like as if I'm going to take reins of my own life in my own hand, whether I make it or I break it, but I will not let anyone question me who I am and for the choices I made.
Good
And I was
man.
like, good for you. Yeah.
Well done, Mama. That's good. That's what you want a man to feel like. That's what you want a man to think of for himself, so that he can be, you know, the head of the house, so that he can be a provider, so that he can be, you know, a man in every sense of the word, you know? I love that. Good for him.
Good for him. Yeah. He knows who he is.
For sure.
So does any of you think of like an ordinary moment that changed your life, or a person like who made history in your personal story? I mean, we talked a little bit about
one person that made history in my story. Rest his soul. His name was Jim, and he worked at the Dell House. And the impact of this man in this young girl's life was real. I just remember this guy towering over everyone. He was like 6-something, and he had a gruffy voice. And I had something after I left the Dell House, and my children were I had 2 children by this time. I had been gone from the Dell House about 5+ years, and something had happened, and I needed to go back. And I started to see Jim, and he was a clinical social worker basically for the Dell House. And I started to see him again, and I didn't know he had cancer at the time. And so, but every Tuesday he made it to come and see me, and no matter how sick he was, and his persistent, I wasn't being charged. I didn't have to pay anything. I was going to him, and he was meeting me of his own will. And so his persistent support changed so much in my life. It allowed me to open up and trust people. It allowed me to mourn relationships. It allowed me to grow with my children. I even spoke at his funeral. He died a week before we were supposed to be seeing each other. And I just know that his life, his historical moment made such an impact and made the woman who I am today. He was a big person that made an impact in my life and changed a lot, helped me change a lot in my life for the better.
Wow. How long did you know him?
I was at the Dell House twice. I went as a crasher once, and then the second time I went as a resident that was going for independent living. So the second time, I think it was about a year relationship, and then it continued on after I left the Dell house.
A great mentor, a great
Yeah.
person to have in your corner.
Him and his wife. His wife continued on years after he died. We would meet every year for his birthday and my birthday because they're around the same time, and we would just celebrate his life and the impact he made. I mean, he was he him the whole Sheffer family made a huge impact, but Jim especially made that big of an impact in my life because I went through so much
History.
history.
History. I think of
I love
teachers.
it.
I think, I was fortunate to have a couple of teachers, that I think created moments of history in my own life. I had one in high school, and then I had a college professor who just made me feel seen. I think we've talked about that in previous episodes, that sometimes, it's those moments where you either see someone, I think I talked about that last week, or you yourself feel seen, that just sort of, I don't know, validates you, or just makes you realize that you matter, even in a small way. I'm sure that there are so many teachers out there that do that for their students. My husband is a special education teacher, and he's, works with the kids who don't necessarily fit the mold. And he's occasionally gets notes and letters from students letting him know the impact that he has had in their stories and their histories.
That's huge. How rewarding.
And I bet there's a lot of teachers out there that don't know the impact that they're creating, the history that they're making in the lives of young people. Closing thoughts, ladies.
I was going to say, Paula, when I think about the people that have made a difference in my life, I really, the first people that come to mind are some teachers that I had, and they just really, I took the time to get to know me as a person and my family. So even so much so that when they knew you were off track, they would call you on it, and you had to be accountable. And I'm so grateful for those experiences because it really did help shape me and the direction I went in my life. And I probably wouldn't have been that person without them. And so it's been really cool I think one of the nice things about social media are those types of connections. I did have a couple of those teachers reach out to me, like look me up and, connect there. And we've been able to have conversations. And I'm just really grateful for that because I think that, we have different characters in our lives, right? That play different roles, and our parents play some, our siblings, our other family members, and then teachers play such an integral role. And it always just astounds me at how little they're paid for the difference they make in the world, and the value that we don't place on that in this society in terms of what we pay for and what we don't. I just think they're not appreciated enough, because it's a very admirable and respectable profession and super important. So I'll get off my soapbox, but I feel strongly about that.
I've been in education for 20 years and I could never be a teacher.
Hard job.
It's a tough job. You're not just teaching. Well, first of all, okay, that's a different subject, but you're making connections. You have the opportunity to make connections, and you have an opportunity to make a bad one or to make a positive one. So which one are you going to, are you in it for what are you in it for? And I think it's kind of like being in the medical field, you have to have the heart for it. Some jobs are like, I need a paycheck, but there are jobs like Paula that you do and Sabby that you do, and you have to have the heart for that stuff.
Absolutely.
I don't know exactly what you do, but it's just not all
We all can make an
superheroes wear
impact.
I
capes.
volunteer for the sheriff's office as a victim's advocate.
See, that's good too. Yep.
So I
Well,
think,
thank you, girls, for diving in
yeah,
to this topic. I think it was really cool. It was a great idea to talk about the valedictorian speech. I think it was good. And I pray that he impacted the students the way that we heard him capable of doing. you know? Yeah.
So I think that, to his point from that speech is that, history isn't just what we study. History isn't just what we read about in the books. It's written in the lives that we touch every day, the cycles that we break within our own families, and the love that we give, those tight hugs, those tight 8-second hugs. And also we write our history when we courageously embrace who we are. So that's what I would leave you all with, and drop us a comment and have a happy Sunday Sunday.